In a peaceful village nestled among towering mountains and sprawling meadows, young Thomas was known for his bright eyes and infectious laughter. Yet, beneath his cheerful facade, he carried the weight of many problems that cast a shadow over his days. In the humble cottage where Thomas lived with his parents, life was far from easy. His father, Mr. Thompson, toiled long hours as a carpenter, struggling to make ends meet. Thomas's mother, Thompson, worked as a seamstress, but her earnings were barely enough to cover the family's basic needs. Every morning, Thomas woke to the hushed conversations of his parents. They spoke in worried tones about unpaid bills, dwindling food supplies, and the uncertain future. Despite his own burdens, Thomas's compassionate heart felt a pang of sadness when he saw Peter, a classmate, being bullied. Peter, with his thick glasses and slight limp, was an easy target. Thomas watched Peter's shoulders slump in defeat, and a fierce determination to help rose within him. He approached the bullies, firmly telling them to leave Peter alone, and offered to walk Peter to school every day. Grateful for the unexpected support, Peter smiled through his tears and accepted Thomas's offer. As they walked together, Peter confided his own struggles, explaining how his poor eyesight made it hard to see the blackboard, leading to difficulties in school and the taunts of other children. Thomas listened with deep empathy, realizing that everyone, in their own way, faced hidden battles. At school, Thomas encountered his own challenges. He was a diligent student, but concentrating in class was difficult when his mind was consumed by worries about his family's financial plight. Math, in particular, was a constant source of frustration. No matter how hard he tried, the concepts seemed to elude him. One afternoon, Thomas stayed behind after school to seek help from his teacher, Miss Adams, with his math homework. He confessed his struggles and his fear of falling behind. Miss Adams offered a warm smile, assuring him that it was perfectly all right to ask for help. Together, they tackled the problem step by step until Thomas understood. With Miss Adams's unwavering support, Thomas began staying after school regularly for extra guidance. Through her patient instruction and his own growing determination, his math skills improved and his confidence blossomed. Despite his efforts to focus on his studies, Thomas could not shake the heavy weight of worry in his heart. His family's financial troubles seemed to worsen with each passing day, and he could see the toll it was taking on his parents. They worked tirelessly, yet it never seemed to be enough. One evening, Thomas overheard his parents arguing in hushed tones. They spoke of mounting debts, overdue rent, and the terrifying threat of eviction. Tears welled in Thomas's eyes as he grasped the full extent of their struggles. He felt utterly helpless, unable to offer the solutions they so desperately needed. Determined to make a difference, Thomas brainstormed ways to help his family. He took on odd jobs around the village, mowing lawns, washing dishes, and running errands for neighbors. Every penny he earned went towards his parents, but even this tireless effort never seemed sufficient to stem the tide of their growing difficulties. One day, walking home from school, Thomas stumbled upon a flyer advertising a local talent show. The grand prize was a substantial sum of money, enough to pay off his family's debts and secure their future. Excited by the sheer possibility, Thomas rushed home to share the news with his parents. Initially, they were hesitant, fearing that Thomas would be heartbroken if he did not win and unable to bear seeing him face another setback. But Thomas was resolute. He reassured them that he had a plan and would not give up without a fight. With his parents' reluctant blessing, Thomas poured himself into preparing for the talent show. He practiced his guitar every spare moment, honing his skills and perfecting his performance. Despite his fears and the immense pressure, Thomas remained steadfastly focused on his goal. The night of the talent show arrived, and the village hall buzzed with excitement. Thomas took a deep breath and stepped onto the brightly lit stage, his heart pounding in his chest. As he strummed the first chords of his song, he poured his heart and soul into the music, channeling all his hopes, fears, and determination into his performance. The audience fell silent as Thomas's voice filled the room, raw with emotion and unwavering in its resolve. When his song concluded, there was not a dry eye in the house. The applause was thunderous, and Thomas took a bow, his cheeks flushed with a mix of pride and relief. In the end, Thomas did not win the grand prize, but he won something far more valuable: the profound admiration and unwavering support of his entire community. Moved by his courage and resilience, the villagers came together, pooling their resources to raise money for Thomas's family, ensuring they would have a roof over their heads and food on the table. Overwhelmed with gratitude, Thomas hugged his parents tightly, tears of joy streaming down his face. In that precious moment, he realized that true wealth was not measured by money, but by love, determination, and the steadfast support of those who cared. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, Thomas's family faced new challenges, but they faced them together, armed with a newfound sense of strength and unity. And as for Thomas, he knew that no matter what obstacles life threw his way, he would always find a way to rise above them, with a song in his heart and a smile on his face.